Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Monday, January 8th, 2024. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart, the altcoin market, XRP, various places, whatever questions end up coming up. And we take a look over there at the U.S. stock market as it gets ready to open up here in the next 4 minutes, along with precious metals like gold and the U.S. dollar currency index, or the DXY. Lastly, we'll go ahead and look through any type of financial news that is going on out there or any type of crypto news that is coming up this week. As you can see on here, I've put a little screenshot on the screen with Barry Silbert saying weak equals big. If you don't remember, Barry Silbert famously tweeted out, "It's going to be a big week," several years ago. That happened to be November 7th of 2021. It was in the peak euphoria of the cryptocurrency market. So, of course, a vague tweet here by Barry Silbert, but everybody remembers the last time. That's like his most famous tweet he's ever done. And as we get ready for Bitcoin ETF results to be coming out this week, prior to markets opening, prior to anything going on in markets, it's been a wild show over there on Twitter as all the announcements for all the fees have been announced for all the various different ETFs that are coming out. It is just an absolute war right now over Bitcoin ETF fees. I think the leader currently right now is BlackRock at 0.25%. So it's just kind of like constant news coming out this morning. Let me see here. Do we have it right here? Yeah, let me screenshot this from James Seifert. I'll add this on the screen. It comes from the Bloomberg terminal. There you go. You got the fee schedules coming out so far. It looks like, Fidelity in there at about 0.4%. Where is BlackRock? Where are you in here? Grayscale, ARK at 0.25%. The first 6 months, there's no fees. I don't see BlackRock in here. I'm just blind. I'm trying to look through it too quickly here. I don't know why I don't see it in here. Okay. But I believe BlackRock's right in there too at 0.25%. So we're getting ready for all the chaos to happen. Of course, there's people raising red flags. There's people saying that's not an issue on why are they fighting over absolutely ridiculously low fees. If there's demand for it there, why are they fighting for these fees? Caitlin Long, a huge Bitcoin maxi, she's raising a red flag saying something's going on here with all these fights over zero fees, that there's no way these guys are going to be making a profit unless if they're going to be lending out assets or lending securities, which ends up becoming a problem. I don't know, but it is interesting to see them all fighting over absolute low fees. Eric Boukalis, of course, like famous guy in crypto Twitter land. He's really an ETF guy, but he's gained popularity among crypto people because he's pretty much the ETF go-to guy, and we just so happen to be having a Bitcoin ETF, so he's become real popular in the crypto world. But he says that these fights over these low fees is actually very typical as we get ready for launch. So hard to read anything into it in regards to if the low fees mean anything or not, if it's really just a fight for market share in the beginning, or is it a fight to completely unload all the Bitcoin that they have as quickly as possible under retail. Don't know. Don't have the ability to do it, but I see differing opinions amongst big thinkers in the cryptocurrency community and within the Bitcoin community on what that could actually mean. So we'll see. This is going to be a big week regardless, right? Like there's probably going to be volatility this week. There's going to be chaos this week. The thing I'm going to try to do going into this week, regardless of initial reactions in the market, up, down, sideways, no reactions whatsoever, is really try to kind of remain in that level head stance. I do know it would be, for retail investors in general, any directional move is going to be quickly overanalyzed on if it has any type of meaning to it. I do know this is an event that it's like, there's one thing when something surprises a market. There's another thing when a market has been prepared for it and known an event is coming. And so we can see lots of different things happen, and we'll just see how the market does react during the middle of it. If we see prices shoot to the upside, I'm going to keep my head pretty level during that. If we see a fall down to the downside, I'll keep my head level. I think the main thing for this week is really going to be just trying to navigate through it in eliminating those emotions and not feeling like celebration or feeling like it's utter doomtown on any type of volatility that does arrive during this week. So that's what I'm going to try to do as I come onto the channel each day, is try to just kind of remain level-headed. I'm not going to really be, if we see everything skyrocket to the moon, I'm going to try not to, I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight the excitement. Just because this has the potential to be some serious craziness. And again, this is an event in the cryptocurrency market we haven't been through before. We've never seen this one right here. So this will be a wild ride, likely. So we'll just kind of take it a day at a time. And right now, it looks like the ducks are all getting lined up for things to move forward. Now, the question is, will the SEC go through with their end? People in the XRP community would tell you that the SEC finds any way remotely possible to do a delay tactic. Doesn't mean they're going to win in the long run, but that the SEC is notorious for finding any and every way to delay. So we'll see if that ends up being the case, or if we get this thing across the finish line. So it's kind of two big. It's kind of two big things, I think. I think one of them is like, okay, will it get across the finish line? Then, if it does get across the finish line, what does demand look like if it gets across the finish line? So that, I think that's really kind of like, the market is of course priced itself for perfection in regards to it getting across the finish line. If it doesn't get across the finish line, we'll see what happens. But if it gets across the finish line, the big unknown after that is, okay, now what does demand look like? How is the market reacting? Is it now that's there? Is every grandma and grandpa piling into Bitcoin? We'll see. So that's kind of how we're going through this week. And I guess we're supposed to have all of our answers. They can just kind of come at any moment over the next few days of if this thing is going to make it across the finish line or not. But it seems like a lot of funds are acting like they are going to be getting it across the finish line. So we'll see how it goes, man. All right, so there we go. Let's look at it. So as we kick off Monday, I think we have a mixed day over there in Wall Street without like pulling it up too much yet. Yeah, you have mixed day over there in Wall Street. You got the Dow down 150 points, but you have the NASDAQ up 85, and you have the S&P up 9 points. But crypto, obviously, we have mostly green happening over here. So as we get ready to kick off what is set to be a wild week, we'll see. Bitcoin sits above $45,000. We've got crypto in the green today. We finished the weekly candle yesterday. Of course, I was standing there watching XRP very closely, like, holy cow, we're going to hold this weekly support happening in here. And sure enough, we did. We held it on the daily and the weekly time frame. Altcoin market still continued to hold throughout the weekend. Some things shifted down. Some things even went higher. But in regards to the whole market, it still continued to hold as we got through the week. Now we're kicking off Monday for potentially an insane week. We'll see how things go. But XRP is still holding it. If you caught my video on Friday, which a lot of you did, I think people have missed the XRP content, one of the most viewed videos I've put out in quite some time. So I got that out, kind of outlined my thoughts on just the broader aspects of markets. And I know people really want to focus on XRP and talk about the potential of all these little teeny tiny price actions, which of course in markets in the morning trying to be like, look, we're range bound. You're looking for a trend. You're looking for something to tell you it's going to skyrocket, but it's range bound. But now we have something to talk about, right? Now we're back on supports. We go through all the things. We talk about the bigger, broader aspect of where Bitcoin is, where the cryptocurrency market is, where the stock market is, and all that stuff. And we have a bigger, better picture to look at in here. So I'm excited about this. But the thing is, we're going to kind of work here. I think what I'm looking for is the first optimistic sign for XRP. The very first thing I'd be looking for is just for us to shoot right back up in here and get back to like somewhere between 64 and 65 cents. And then I'd expect to pull back after that. But that would be the first thing I'm looking for, is to get to that 64 to 65 cents. If so, that would tell me, okay, we have confirmed the support happening in here if we get to 64 to 65. Even though if we get to 64 and 65, you will likely see Twitter hooting and hollering and screaming and jumping up and down and saying this time is it. All the moon charts you could possibly imagine. I actually think we'd pull back and still spend a week or two or more just pulling back again. But that would give me some confirmation that we just put in that bottom. We just got out of there and we're done hanging out down in here. So that's the first thing I'm looking for, is just a quick push back up, get us away from the support levels, confirm that it was a support. Then there's likely going to be some ranging that comes in here. Ranging equals raging on Twitter. That's fine. But let's just at least work our way up here a little bit, and then that will leave some optimism for me. And we can see that we are seeing some bounces happening in the altcoin market after this pullback has been going on. But of course, we're leading into the potential craziest week of crypto narrative-wise, right? So a lot of people want to celebrate this and say it's the legitimacy of crypto. Essentially, Bitcoin is being handed over to Wall Street on a silver platter, right? So they're going to have, that's the way I think of it, man, is there potential that we've just given them control of price of Bitcoin, that they can now use all their instruments they want to push that price where they want it to go, whenever they want it to go. Maybe. But if it makes it across the finish line, it does at least solidify crypto as real. I think we'll all take that for being in here for years and just having stones cast at us for so long. But all right, there we go. Big week ahead as the ETFs get the new stuff on ETFs comes out constantly. Of course, for the big raging bulls that are bullish out there who are looking for Bitcoin to break into a new all-time high, if it did, that would be a deviation from any type of behavior. Even if you were to follow something that led like even into your 2017 bull run that you got, you still wouldn't even be able to get out from right here. So I'm definitely cautious, and you guys know, you've seen it, all the stuff, retrace levels, that's my big thing. If there is any chance of a bull for Bitcoin, I just have all the data to go back to and reflect on and say, well, the most likely thing is that we're going to have some type of back test, which of course isn't the thing people want to hear heading into ETF week. This is where emotions are getting really hyped. Everything is really exciting, really euphoric. Anything contradictory to go to moon today is anti that narrative. But I think there's just a lot of tricks up the sleeves, and we'll see how the week ends up going. Otherwise, altcoin market still continues to hold through the weekend. Stock market, there you go. We're open. Dow's down 150. NASDAQ up 94. S&P up 10. Mix over here. Leaders are NVIDIA, Coinbase, and Amazon. Losers are Caterpillar, Tesla, and GE. U.S. dollar currency index, DXY, still holding the low that was set there a couple of weeks ago. Just chilling here in this range. Thing getting hurt this morning. You got gold taking a downward shot today, back down to $2,022. You got silver down to $22.97. I'll show you a crazy chart. You want to see something nuts? Is there a chance we're going to see like dirt cheap gasoline? Dirt cheap gasoline. The last couple of months, it really kind of broke through a support. And in the last few weeks, it went back for kind of a back test of support. And here today, it's down 4%. So we'll keep an eye on this. Not that it really pertains to us too much, but gasoline prices pertain to everybody no matter what. Unless you're like the crazy person who has an electric car, which you're crazy to me. You're nuts. But everybody else, right? All of us normies who have gasoline vehicles, we'll keep our eyes on that to see if we're about to see a plunge happen over here in gasoline. But that was a big move in there. Natural gas is taking a big fall today too, down 5.5%. So electric, gas, energy taking a hit today. But of course, everybody watching on this one, big old Bitcoin. So, as for like analysis on it, I think we've kind of beaten that like a dead horse. At this point, we're getting really close to retracement levels. It's not unusual for a narrative to come in at retracement levels. It's not unusual for retail to get euphoric at retracement levels. That's what we've said for the last year and a half. That would happen. They would get back up to the retracement levels. 12K, 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 12K. We get to the retracement levels. There's like a narrative that there's like must buy, must buy, must buy. There's no way I'm selling. I have to buy here. And it happens to be by BlackRock and JP Morgan and all those guys. So big week. I'm going to bet it is. But we'll see how things go. We're just going to kind of take it a day at a time. So this is probably like our calm before things can get crazy. But kind of prepare for this week that it could be a big fat whopping wild week, and we'll see how it ends up going. We got 3,000 already tuned in here, kind of waiting. There's no big moves happening in here. A lot of this is just bouncing off of the pullbacks that we've already seen in the market, right? And now the big question is on Bitcoin. If it goes, what kind of euphoria are we going to see in the market? Like how strong is retail going to get, and how euphoric are they going to get? Remember, $1 trillion for the market cap of Bitcoin is the 702 retracement. There happens to be the confluence of that. Get ready for headlines to go with that too. Just get ready for a week. Nothing's changed on the chart since last week, so there's not a whole lot to say that, things are nuts. I think we're all just going to have to wait to get through this week and see how those things end up going for the ETF and all that. But the big things that have happened in regards to ETF filings today is there is a fee war, waiving fees down to next to nothing. And in some cases, the fees are zero for the first 6 months or the first 12 months. So there's a huge battle over who's going to have the lowest fee. Narrative is to grab market share. I don't have the full, I've tried to talk to people too to ask them the question, and I haven't gotten a solid answer from people too on, whether or not these asset managers already have the assets under their control, right? That have they already accumulated the Bitcoin and not. A Bitcoin maxi will tell you, no, they have not accumulated it. They're going to start buying it now. They're going to start buying it when money pours in. Or have they already accumulated all of their Bitcoin, right? And the fee war is to make sure they get all that Bitcoin out of underneath their possession here, right? So a lot of mixed thoughts. On what it will actually mean for an ETF getting released. Is this the opportunity for them to be able to dump large quantities onto the market? Or is it what Bitcoiners want it to be, that it is going to send the price skyrocketing to the absolute heavens? Right? We're going to find out. So keeping a level head through this week is my goal. That is my goal. All right. Let's go ahead and jump in. I'm sure we're going to have jump into the news. I'm sure we're going to have just ETF here. Spot Bitcoin ETF issuers file amended S1 applications now awaiting the SEC approval. So I believe we have to have the approval by Wednesday or Thursday. 100 days to the halving. 5 things to know in Bitcoin this week, right? So no matter what happens with the ETF stuff, we're going to get beyond the speculation and the hype of ETF, right? That narrative will be behind us next week. The shift is then going to become, okay, now we speculate and we get hype about Bitcoin halving, right? So there's always something next, right? So the market will shift from it. What I'm intrigued to see is what happens once that ETF hype does die, because it's going to take a little while for them to ramp people up in excitement about the halving again. It's going to take a little time. But what happens in the rest of the market during the period of getting beyond this? Like, this is just this has been the news events for so long, and it's going to be behind us after this week. That'll be wild. All right, Nigeria, let's go back. So is it really only 100 days? Let me see when the anticipated date was. Last time I checked, which was a while ago, it was like April 24th or something, 16th, 24th, or 26th. Next Bitcoin block reward halving, April 22nd. Is that really 100 days? I guess it's close. About 100 days. Yeah. So April 22nd is the anticipation of the next Bitcoin block reward halving. Just remember, the halving date itself has never provided a moonshot ever. So just kind of be prepared for that. All right. Fake news, crypto panic. Binance gains users as market share falls. SEC backed into a corner. IRS tracks crypto trades and Mickey Mouse NFTs. Oh, yeah. I posted about this on Twitter over the weekend. Like $1.2 million of Bitcoin was sent to the Satoshi wallets. Now, of course, the biggest fear out of the crypto market, we just got to talk about these things because I don't sit here and I don't just like paint BS narratives here. Like the biggest fear of the market, of course, would be if Bitcoin ever moved out of the Satoshi wallets, right? Because that would mean that Satoshi is alive, or the group of Satoshi is still alive, and that they also have the keys and the access to be able to move Bitcoin out of the wallets. That's the biggest fear, right? The market would probably panic in a situation where that actually happened, where if even 0.0001 Bitcoin moved out of Satoshi's wallet, that would just say he's not dead or they are not dead and they have access and they can do what they want with that Bitcoin and they have the power to dump it. That's not the case. $1.2 million worth of Bitcoin was sent into the Satoshi wallet from Binance. I doubt it, Satoshi. That'd just be weird. It would just be weird for Satoshi to do that. It is likely somebody else doing that. The question is who and why. The thing that anybody who just like paints an absolute sunshine rainbow narrative will tell you is it was just somebody wanting to say thank you to Satoshi. Really? Why? Just burn $1.2 million for no reason. If you think he's dead or if you think he doesn't have access to it, you literally are not giving the money to Satoshi because you're just throwing it into a trash can. So that I don't buy that for half of a second. Not 1 second did $1.2 million get sent, nor was it a fat finger send. No way. It was sent intentionally. The question is why? No one knows. I posted on it that, I don't know, but is it to draw attention right before the ETFs get launched? I don't know. And then I posted who would do it? Right? And if I put my tinfoil hat on, who is somebody who would do that? Of course, it would be Elizabeth Warren as my first culprit of thinking that would be somebody who would do it. It'd be like, see, look, I'm a nice grandma looking out for everybody. Look at Satoshi. Yeah, so that's who I would think would do it. But Jeremy Hogan had his own opinion, kind of goofing off too. I think when I read down his follow-up replies, that the new IRS rules, which I have to look into because I'm planning on moving around a lot of crypto. But that if you receive over $10,000 in crypto, you have to report it to the IRS within 15 days, or it can be felony or something like that. So we should probably look into that new rule that came out in January 1st. But if Satoshi is American, he's now, or they or she is now liable to report it to the IRS without being a felon. But I just don't think so. I don't know. It's weird. Okay. Like it's weird. I think we should all accept it as weird. You can completely if you put if you're no offense to anybody or offense to everybody. I'm not on either political side, right? But we both know it. If you're on one side, you look at the other side and you can see how absolutely nothing you say changes their mind, and that the people on that side feel the same way towards you on your side, right? No matter what side you're on. But like that political blindsiding that we do to us also happens in crypto all the time. We have all of our little groups, and of course you can take anything and show it to a Bitcoiner, and they could spin it immediately to be something positive. But I find it hard to see anything why that $1.2 million was sent to Satoshi's wallet unless it was foreshadowing something. And I don't know what that is. But maybe we'll find out. Either way. Okay, back to this thing. SEC is backed into a corner. IRS tracks crypto trades and Mickey Mouse NFTs. Well, let's finish with Mickey Mouse. Okay. Mysterious Bitcoiner spends $64,000 to inscribe 9 megabytes of data on Bitcoin. Cool. SEC reissues crypto FOMO warning amid hope for spot Bitcoin ETFs. Honduras special zone officially recognizes Bitcoin as a unit of account. Nigeria's CBDC waivers. Stakeholders analyze prospect of CNGN stablecoin. What are the next steps for the Bitcoin ETF? Grayscale drops Matic, adds AVAX XRP in their funds rebalance. Yeah, so Grayscale has a large cap digital funds ETF, and they've now made 2% of it XRP. It means nothing to me for them to do that. I get it. Like, we like to make every headline seem so huge when they did that, do this stuff. You know, Grayscale used to have a XRP trust. It did nothing. There was an actual trust that was just XRP. It did nothing. So I get it. It makes good narratives. It gets hypes. It gets clicks. But just, you know, I guess it at least gives you a little bit of validity to say, hey, look, we've made it into the large cap fund. We're something again. BlackRock and other potential Bitcoin ETF providers reveal their fees, with BlackRock said its fee will start at 0.2%, rising to 0.3%. Bitcoin and Asian stocks drop as traders pair March Fed rate cut bets. I'm guessing this was written. Yeah, this was written in the middle of the night. Okay. Bitcoin ETF approval odds raised to over 90% at Bloomberg. There you go. CNBC, let's go on to the financial news real quick. We'll take one more peek over here at prices as the day keeps going here, as the stock market is open. We're still at $45,000 over here for Bitcoin. Dow Jones is still down 178 points, with the S&P still up 0.25% and the NASDAQ up 0.81%. So the NASDAQ and the S&P are doing okay. It's just the Dow Jones that's taking a hit this morning. Looks like Coinbase has turned to the south side, down 1.5%. On what is supposed to be a good time for Coinbase. We'll see what happens there. All right, heading over to CNBC and Bloomberg as we get ready to look at financial news as the day kicks off. Boeing shares tumble 8% after FAA grounds dozens of 737 MAX 9s for urgent safety inspections. Missing door plug that detached from Alaska Airlines plane was found in Oregon. Yeah, if you haven't seen the videos of that, the whole door wall of that airplane blew out while they were still 18,000 feet in the air. Apparently nobody got hurt, but you could watch as they were landing. They had no, that whole wall was gone. They're all flying. All the passengers are sitting there, but there's no wall there. That was wild. Moderna stuff. Dow futures fall 200 points after Wall Street snaps a 9-week winning streak. Boeing shares slide. Analysts call. Wall Street reacts to Boeing 737 MAX 9 grounding. Do you buy the Apple dip? Key piece of Boeing 737 was found in the hunt for clues on the plane blowout. I find that odd. How you could find that small of a piece just out in the middle of Oregon, and it must have had to have landed in a populated area. It's weird. I couldn't imagine that you would actually be able to find something that small. Boeing CEO's comeback plan for 2024 takes a hit 5 days in. Boeing MAX grounded. Airlines and regulators taking action. Fed pivot will dominate the year of rate cuts and turn of global cycle. Ooh, and look at the dark clouds they've put over it. Ooh. And look at the tree branches. There's no leaves on them. It's like Halloween kind of eerie with the dark clouds. Ooh. Okay, a series of errors left Biden in the dark about Austin for 4 days. Confusion over Austin's wishes. He was sick or something. Why does this have to do with this? Okay. There we go. BlackRock and ARK file amended forms and final push for Bitcoin ETFs. There you go. There you have it. How are we looking at for rate hikes and cuts? Last time I checked, it was 95% this morning that will be paused. still there. 95.3%, 4.7% of a cut coming up there on January 31st. Looks like we are at a 65% chance of a rate cut there in March, and then 93% there in May. And we get into the 99s and 100s beyond there. So there you have it. 44,892 there for Bitcoin as the week gets kicked off and the stock market gets roaring. How are we doing? 205 points for the Dow, 205 into the red for the Dow, S&P up 10, NASDAQ up 128. So tech is doing okay this morning. Coinbase still slipping even further behind now down 3% this morning as the day gets kicked off on what is supposed to be, according to Bitcoiners, the best thing ever. We'll see. We will all find out. We're just going to take it nice and easy. All right, guys, I think that's it. We're about 30 minutes into it. This is what we're looking at. You know, prices remain really unchanged over here for Bitcoin. We've seen that pullback happen over there in the altcoin market today as the week gets kicked off. We're seeing a little bit of a bounce happening over there. Stock market is super mixed this morning. One index, the Dow Jones, way down. S&P up slightly. NASDAQ up way more. So a lot of kind of wildness over here in this sector, or at least over there in the stock market. Bitcoin, everybody fighting their FOMO right now over what to expect as the ETF approvals get closer and closer and closer, and whether or not the SEC will go through with it, and then what will be the demand for them as they get going. That's what we're all going to be waiting and watching for this week. As for things like XRP, they were able to hold throughout the weekend, still holding levels. Put out a whole video on my thoughts on XRP, just kind of showing everything. Still, that's just what my thoughts are still in there. The biggest ultimate thing that would be of major concern to me would be taking out lower lows. If we, for some reason, were setting lower lows below August, September, and October, that would be ultimate. Things are not right over here. Okay. That would be the biggest thing. We know we should be uptrending in here. If we start downtrending, that's very ungood. Ungood. Otherwise, it's just a waiting game. But we talked about this earlier already in Markets in the Morning. So there you go. 44,800 for Bitcoin. Big week, according to Barry Silbert. And I think you have to be living under a rock to not know that it's going to be a big week this week. The market has priced in that this is the most epic event, or the Bitcoin narratives have portrayed this as the biggest event to ever happen in human history. But we're gonna find out if that's true or not. So, all right, there we go. Let's hop on into the chat. We'll see what questions you guys got. Leffins, new member, welcome, brother. Andy Philpott, before the stream even started, gifted 5 BCB memberships. Man, thank you very, very much, Andy. You do that almost every day, bro. Thank you. Spags, what's your thoughts on the Hedera Governance Council? Hit that like, I don't know, bro. Proud Father of 5 says, what is the NVIDIA chart telling us since 521 until now? Thanks for everything, BCB. Greetings from Portugal. Come for a surf or a sunset. I don't spend a lot of time on NVIDIA to be able to tell you what the NVIDIA chart is telling us. It's a bubble. It's a bubble. But will it? It's probably gonna pop when everything else pops. But thank you, Proud Father of 5. Appreciate it, brother. Portugal, man. Dylan Kerr, I've been buying the Zcash FUD. I'm sure we have seen these prices in the past. I'm just checking with you to make sure it isn't dead. Well, I mean, we talked about this last week. Your privacy coins are under complete attack by the U.S. government right now. You've had OKX delist all of them. You've got Binance, who's on the verge of cutting them. You have not had them cut by places like Kraken, who is like one of the only, if not one of the only places in the United States you can get Monero. But you've still got them over there on Coinbase and in Kraken, Zcash, stuff like that. But there is an attack happening right now. Now the question is, will crypto ever really become money? That's the hardest thing for like it's the biggest crack in the whole narrative of all of it from a money standpoint. is that when you swipe your credit card somewhere, you have privacy with that. The bank account or the retailer you're at doesn't have the ability to see where all of your previous transactions have come from on your credit card. The retailer does not have the ability to see how much money you have in your bank account. However, that is the case right now with crypto. If you send anybody anything, they can see how much money you have, and they can see everything you've ever done with your money. That's never, ever, ever going to happen, ever, as our everyday form of payments. It's just never going to happen. There has to be some type of privacy happening between those aspects of it. And the U.S. government is on a complete, utter war to stop that. So if there's any chance of if crypto being used as any type of money, there has to be a privacy layer to it. That is not just speculate. I mean, that's just reality. You're not going to step down from using things like Zelle, right? Zelle is lightning fast. If you haven't used Zelle, it's very quick. Using Zelle, using your credit cards, using checking accounts, you're not going to stop spending your money in that manner. Because you have that privacy. You don't want your neighbor knowing. You don't want criminals knowing. You don't want everybody. You don't want to have a target on your back, right? And so if there's any chance of crypto having money, it's going to have privacy. The question is, are we ever going to use crypto as money? I don't know. I've been here for 6 years. I've been here for, oh my gosh, I've been here for 7 years. In a couple of months, it'll have been 7 years. We're not using it as money, right? So we'll see. Pat, my brother, gifted 5 memberships. Pat, staying up late. Thank you, Pat. Brandon, did you see any correlation between the fractal from August 18th, 2017 to October 27th, 2017 to July 12th, 2023 to current? Excluding the SEC news in July 23, the fractal seemed to line up. Thanks for everything. All right, let's try to see what you're saying here. Let's go to here. August 18th, 2017. Right there. To October. So it's like right there. From July 12th. Right, so this is a correction, right? So we talk about this like with Ethereum, right? For example, just so we can like discuss what this is in here. Just to understand how corrections happen in here, right? See the attempt failure that's going to happen on a divergence. You can see there's a bearish divergence that emerges in here on the new high and then complunk and then work sideways until it eventually goes, right? So this is like your standard correction, like very common. And that's what we see here in things like Ethereum, right? But that's not your question. Your question is, I just wanted to point that out once you started talking about that. And then you're saying from July 12th of 2023. To current. Right. Well, so also understanding this, like right, we're in new all-time highs. We're cranking. We're rushing. These are just normal standard corrections happening along the way. In new all-time highs, everything in here is into a retrace. Right. So I mean, obviously you don't get a new low in here. This is more of a running flat happening in here. So is this a running flat style correction happening? Maybe, but I definitely don't I don't reference back to this when trying to look at these smaller time frames, especially into a retracement. Just into a retracement level, I can't in any way possible think, oh, this was, and then now we're just going to, like, of course we all want that, right? We all want that next. This is where you are. You're in the areas that the market has just completely struggled with. Bitcoin, everybody's FOMOing, everybody can't sell, everybody's got to be long. I mean, here's what's happening. I'm just telling you so you can understand what it's going to look like. Nobody is telling you that they've sold any of their Bitcoin, but everybody's warning you that things could hit the fan, right? I have told you I have sold a lot of my Bitcoin, especially I still have all 35% that I got in here and here. I've got 35% of it, right? I sold 65% of it after Elon Musk announced that they had added Bitcoin to their balance sheets. All there on Twitter for your beautiful eyes to see. And then, of course, while all the 12Kers are screaming and all the content creators are screaming, we're going to 12K, I'm loading up and fighting against them the whole way. We get back into the retracement levels. I've been unloading a lot of my Bitcoin. But we're back into the retracement levels now. This is where retail has got everything in their power to not be able to sell it. And so what you're going to see a lot of out there is a lot of warnings, right? But I have blatantly told you that I've sold. We're going to find out if I'm right or if I'm wrong when the time comes, right? But what you're going to see is a lot of people saying, see, I was right, but none of them sold any of it, right? But if it shoots to the moon, it's celebration station. But if it crashes and crumbles, they say, see here, let me reference this tweet where I told you that it could crash after the FTF stuff, right? It's hedging. If you don't know that about content creation, there's so much hedging that happens in your words, and you reference back to tweets and blah, 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 and you paint a different narrative of what you said after the crap happened. You all know where I am. So if it goes higher and I'm not sitting with massive bags of Bitcoin, the cold, hard reality is I am cheering for that. I want that. That is epic, because what's going to happen with the rest of the market? It's going to obliterate Bitcoin. The altcoin market is going to obliterate Bitcoin in the case that Bitcoin goes into a new all-time high. However, it's not ironic for everyone to become massively bullish, and you have all the narratives in the world to need to be a buyer here, to hold it, to not be able to sell it, to FOMO. You have just extreme euphoria, excitement happening in here. We talked about it for a very, very long time. That's what it would be like back in here, that retail would be euphoric. You're seeing it all happen. You're seeing how it's not only just euphoric, but the banks are even involved in creating a narrative to get you to buy. How funny is that, right? The justification is actually the guys that you've all been calling the enemy for so long. They're the ones making you be buyers here. That is the irony of it all. But yeah, okay. So we're here. I just can't. I can't hop on a train of thinking this thing is shooting to the moon, and that we're just right here, and it's about to just 4x from here and go kind of absolutely bonkers. If it does go absolutely bonkers, I'll make a lot of money. I'll make a silly amount of money, and I'll be in shock and awe. and in disbelief, but not you got a lot of kahunas if you're not sitting here looking at these things thinking, okay, here we go. All right, there's a problem child here. There's some serious problems right in here, and the irony is that retail is euphoric, Adam. And the irony is that it's the guys you've painted as the bad people the whole time for all these years. They're the ones getting you to buy here. BlackRock, JP Morgan, the bad guys are getting you to buy here. We'll see. Nobody X, hey, can you refresh our memories as to if your cash out strategy actually involves looking at the fib levels of the price of market cap or assets? Well, we've definitely paying attention to market caps, right? Especially with all the inflation that has happened in there at this point, and the things we learned in 2021, right? We watched those things happen live, but it also, when we saw things like even Ethereum Classic, pinpoint nail 4.236 extension market cap, watching market caps is going to be incredibly important. One of those other wild things we caught live when it happened was total, right? And this was the time where we started saying, okay, paying attention to these market caps is very important going into here. Because for those who took bcbacker.com, we through 2020 and 2021, we had talked a lot about the rally prior to retracement. I'll darken this up a little bit. And that we had seen assets in the past use this rally prior to capitulation for measuring out their total peaks. And what we saw was we ended up seeing the total market cap of all of crypto perfectly nail it in there. Get this thing going here. If you remember when Homeboy went on Saturday Night Live, right? And then we nailed it. So this is all live, right? Like we're all doing this stuff live, tweeting, being like, hey, that's a little concerning happening right in there. There's videos recorded talking about this, literally using the 0.236 on this rally happening in here. Videos recorded back in September and August of 2020. And while it doesn't look as dramatic there, it becomes a little bit more here when you're saying, hey, this might be an interesting strategy here. And this is all from back in here. And then it just completely nails it happening in there. And that's where it became real apparent, like, hey, look, these market caps are something to not F with. To pay attention to them, especially when we now go and then like things like Ethereum Classic. Drive it up. Here, we'll just do like this. The market cap. Pinpoint nails it. 4.236 extension on market caps. And then, we can go through these things, be like Bitcoin. Ethereum. Right. So, definitely paying attention to market caps. And the thing that ends up happening is like we talked about, I haven't even mentioned my newsletter, right? But one of these things in here with a case study, right? Crafting a crypto portfolio for 2023, 2024, winning strategies through developer activity, drawdowns, and circulating supply analysis, right? So when you go through times like this, you have things that like Hedera, Hashgraph, who had a very large inflation rate for a very long time. You have things like Filecoin, had high inflation rates for a very long time. ICP had a high inflation rate for a very long time. And when those things happen, what happens if the market cap remains the same, but you 5x the total tokens in supply, right? You've just diluted the value of the token way down. And so if you're not on top of paying attention to these things, like, oh, this guy on Twitter told me that this coin is great, but it's got 2,000% inflation happening in there. You're going to it doesn't matter if the thing 100x if the inflation rate is going to 30x itself in a year. It doesn't matter. So like you have to really know those things, and that really impacts stuff like that. Like if there's one that like could probably just look at the price chart of and not have to look at the market cap of, it's probably Ethereum. Just because Ethereum's had really no inflation for quite some time, right? Let's look at this thing. What is it called? Ultrasound money. This is since the beginning of time. How long is this for? Time frame, 30 days, forever? Okay, yeah. Since here, right? So dating back to September of 2022, it's had a deflationary rate of 0.22%. So this will not, what's this do? Right, so the issuance has been 1.2 billion, but the burn has been 1.7 billion. So the supply has gone down by 0.22%. over the course of a year and a half or 480 days. So that's one of the ones you probably just look over there at market cap or look at the price chart and not the market cap. Just because the inflation hasn't impacted it. But things that have higher inflation, yeah, gonna have to look at market caps. Jonas Fugalis, thank you, BCB, for everything you do. It means the world to many others that you still choose to do golden content. Have a good year. Jonas, thank you, brother. Member for 6 months. Annie Philpott, come on, everybody. Hit the like button to support the channel. Just a nice super chat and a friendly reminder to like. We're at over 1,000. Good job, guys. And we're at 50 minutes in. So, all right, I'm going to have to start moving through this a little bit faster so I don't eat up all of your day today, guys. But Bitcoin's still at 44,800, mostly green in the market. XRP 56.4. What's the Dow Jones doing? DJI down 149, a little bit of an improvement from what it was earlier. S&P still continuing to march up, now up a third of percent. NASDAQ up over 1% now this morning. Coinbase still at the bottom of the list on here, but still a slight improvement from where it was. It was down 3% at one point this morning. Leader this morning, NVIDIA, Amazon, Apple. Big week. Week equals big. Thank you, Andy. And then after that, Andy supports it. It just gives out five BCB memberships. Andy, brother, thank you very much. Grumpy Old Men. Hey, BCB, I've gone backwards and became a lurker. I've extra tweeted you about this, but can you look at stacks as it's over the April high? Let's look at it. Yeah, so stacks was an earlier, it may end up being a good sign, stack, but you can see it's not far, right? Stacks was one that got back to the April stuff very soon, right? So this is a problem we've seen throughout the whole market. Everything's shooting back here to April and unable to get through it. It pulls down since March of 2023, now shooting its way back up. Still in these areas. Let's see if we can find a longer duration chart than what we have here. There you go. Let's take a look at like retracement levels for stacks. But take it off log scale and just kind of look at it from a realistic stuff here. Kind of see where you're at, right? You just got through 50%. So this has been the trouble spot. So it's nice to see that trouble spot get cleared. But there's still more, of course, right? For the path to all-time highs, there's still more. And for those who were not here in 2019, 20, and 2020 in this market, this is how it goes. This is how it goes as you work your way back up. Everybody, there is a good reason why retail pours into all-time highs. And it's because when you look that way, there's no resistance anywhere. None at all. It's just the sky is the limit, and that's why retail pours in here. But as we work our way back up, we fight and fight and fight and fight and fight everything to get through these things. But what people don't realize is the people who hold through this back up, this is where all the percentages are made. All the money gets made here. All the distribution happens up here. But like, for example, in here for something like stacks, from these lows, right? What are you up right now? 819%. For somebody jumping in here right now to get 819%, not even a 4.236 extension from this price level is going to get you 819%. You got to get way beyond it to be able to make what the guy did from here to here. And most people just don't pay attention to that at all. And that's why it's just laughable to me when retail buys retracement levels in general. They're not doing any math. So like with Bitcoin, of course, is what I'm talking about. But yeah, so you got the problems coming ahead, right? It's nice to see that kind of get worked through here. But you're still in this, whatever the heck that thing is. not quite through, and you're definitely in retracements, right? I think you're just barely through 50%, so you're almost at 618. Just from a retracement standpoint, I know, you know, these two doozies, these three doozies are the big doozers to watch out for. So we'll see. Mode Barber. Hey, BCB, in the last XRP video, you hyped us up for a big move. Now the best case is to push to 65 cents. Dude, I'm sick of waiting. Just sell, bro. Get out. Just freaking sell your back and leave. Wait. I want you to go rewatch my video, and I want you to tell me how. Where's the dang XRP thing? Dang it, did it really get deleted off the screen? Don't you dare. I want you to go watch the XRP video and tell me if you look at it and watch it, if it doesn't show on the video literally this. But you have obviously gotten yourself to a point where you shouldn't be in these markets. You have. You should definitely not be in this market, brother. I literally just drew this a minute ago, and this angers you. You should not be in this market. You should sell everything and leave. Ali K, hey, what do you think about ADA on the Renko daily chart? Yeah, I don't do the Renko stuff. So that's my answer. Daniel, new member. Welcome, brother. The Sport Boys. In the past, you mentioned an ETF approval would mark the top. You still think that's true? You rock BCB. Why wouldn't it, right? Why wouldn't it be the perfect storm to mark a top? You're back into retracement levels. You have retail completely wrong-footed. You have retail completely long Bitcoin right now. And who's the guy on the other side doing the selling? BlackRock, JP Morgan, all the banks. They're the sellers on the other side to retail, who's YOLO hyped into the retracement levels. You've seen what's happened in the past ones, right? Do I know what will happen? Of course not. The only thing I can do is look to the past and say, what has happened with these other ones? They've all marked reversals. Is this one any different? That's the big speculation everybody is making, right? We are all speculating on what will happen. The only thing we can say is what has happened with the last ones. But this time it's different. It's spot immutable. It's immutable. It's super immutable. That is what all grandmas care about. Immutable. That's why this one's better. I don't think so. You know, like, we'll see. Right, I don't know. We're going to find out together. The thing I can show you is what has happened with all the other ones. They've all marked reversals. All Bitcoin, ETF, and financial products have marked reversals. And retail is all on the same side together. Where were they all on the same side recently? They all sold here. What in 23, 20, 12, everything. Now they're all long into the retracement level. So, I mean, well, you know, I also look at retail and say, what are you guys doing? Oh, you're all long. Okay. Right. So we'll see. Immutable. And it's never been that I said that ETF would mark the top. I actually have just said they'll come in and do it at the retracement levels. And sure enough, they have. Can you give us a macro view of Bitcoin? No. Watch my video from Friday. Brother, that takes a long time, and I probably do that 100 times a week. I appreciate the super chat, but that's just, you can watch my video from Friday. The XRP video, the first 10 minutes are about Bitcoin. I just piss off everybody. I tell the Bitcoiners that their asset's going to go down, 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 and then I make the XRPers watch 10 minutes of Bitcoin first. So, but it's all out of love, man. Travis Hutchinson, member for 3 months. How many days has it been since the Dow all-time high? It happened on December 13th, I believe, right? I think they all hit on, at least the NASDAQ and the Dow hit on December 13th. Yeah, Wednesday, December 13th. When did the NASDAQ hit it? Debatable between December 18th and December 19th. Viking Beard, member for 4 months. No question, just to say thank you for the great info and keeping us all sane. You are the OG of charge. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. Michael J. Love, which is a member for 9 months, says thanks BCB for keeping it real. Much love, Michael, aka Dr. Love. And hey, dudes and dudettes, hit the freaking like button. It's free. I agree. Thank you, Michael. Brandon, bro, that fractal question was for XRP. Sorry. What fractal? Brandon, did you? Oh, dude, I'm sorry, bro. I spent so much time on that. I got to keep moving now at this point, bro. I got to keep moving at this point because we're already at an hour. The first time BCB viewer. Hey, BCB, I just wanted to say thank you for telling us that we have beautiful eyes around the 40-minute mark, almost enough to make us feel special. Well, don't get carried away. Thank you, brother. M. Sire D says, thanks, bro. Thank you very much. Just a super chat and a thanks, BCB. Thank you. John Trade says, with Bitcoin ETF, do you see less Bitcoin volatility in the future? P.S. I love my Tesla 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. I have no question you like your pickup. I do believe it. But when it does it, when it goes, whereas like real men, it's like, I'm just saying. Or is it like 60? I'm just kidding. Maybe. Not really. I have ridden in one. I have done the 0 to 60 thing in a Tesla. It is very fast. There's no question about it. It is very, very fast. Yeah, I'm just being a jerk. But how do you like going on long car trips, huh? How do you like beating the Google Maps speed, right? All of us normies have to like pre-plan. How am I going to get off the road, stop for 5 minutes, put the gas in, and then still catch up? Like I have to make up that 5 minutes of time versus Google Maps, and then like also prepare that I have to stop and get gas. I'm going to lose that, and then I'm going to repass that purple truck that I had passed earlier because, you know, they passed me while I stopped at the gas station, but then I bypass them again, and then I'm back ahead of Google Maps again. However, for a Tesla, you're like, it's going to take me 4 days to get there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right. John Trades, thank you. As for reducing volatility, dude, I mean, I would be pulling it out of my backside to say an opinion, yes or no on that. Your question was, with the Bitcoin ETF, do you see less Bitcoin volatility in the future? I would be completely pulling it out of my backside with absolutely no type of reference point to say yes or no. We have had Bitcoin futures. You've had a Bitcoin Canadian ETF. You've had a Bitcoin long ETF. You've had a Bitcoin short ETF. None of those stopped volatility. It's still been very volatile. Cash Me Outside is immutable when there is no volume on the television. Duh, Grandma loves loud TV. Hit the like button. Cash Me Outside. Thank you, brother. Remember, 8 months. Skeleton, can you please show where the XRP fractal went up to? I already know, but I'm asking for everyone else. Sorry, this is the ending phase. That's the ending phase of 2017. Right, so this is drawn out correction of 2017. Right in here. And so the dude who absolutely lost his mind on hearing the first move of just confirming support and just lost it. I hope it'll let me do the 2-hour chart on here. Sometimes TradingView said not today. So we'll try 4-hour chart. I said to that, bro. The first thing I'd like to see is for us to get to like 65 cents. And it's probably going to pull back for a little while in here. Oh my God! And then off, right? So conceptually, that, right? So the first thing is to at least like get up to 64 and 65. All right, I probably need some food, guys. This is not going well. 3,000 people acting like a total jackass. All right. Takahala. I've been looking at many of my alts, and it seems most of them haven't even come close to the 0.236. Is this correct, or am I looking at it wrongly? No, that's probably correct. Rydaz World. Member for 5 months. Great morning to all. Thank you, BCB, for giving us history facts. I love it. You dig? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cars are hackable. Says Peaceful Gamer. Yeah, I don't really worry about that. Debenzo, do you think Zcash is at the final bottom of Wyckoff? Well, like we've already kind of talked about Zcash today in today's stream. I think we spent about 5 minutes talking about privacy coins, the struggles that they're all going through right now in regards to exchanges delisting privacy coins due to pressure from the United States government. Hopefully so. But you know, the hope of crypto being a form of money that we all use every day, that narrative has been fading and fading and fading. And if you can't tell, that's in your heart, you know that's never going to happen for Bitcoin. You know you're never going to be spending your Bitcoin as money in even the original white paper, a peer-to-peer form of money, right? Cash to spend. That narrative has died because it's not possible with Bitcoin. It's too slow. It's too expensive. There's no privacy. You're not going to use it because it's totally trackable and everybody can do it. So if there's any case, or if there's any use case of crypto as a money, it requires privacy, but we're going to see if that ever even comes to fruition. The Freak Fish says, how is BC Barker? Happy New Year. Thanks for everything. I guess I should give you guys an update on him at some point. Just send you some pictures or something. Glad you guys were here around during the first BC Barker. That was a rough year. That was during the C19 year where all that stuff happened, and you guys were very supportive during that. It was one of those tough ones because it wasn't something that happened. You know, when you lose your pet, no situation is easy, whether it's quick or whether it's long and drawn out. They're always tough. I've had, in the last 5 or 6 years, I've had both those circumstances. We had a cat once who had a stroke, and then within it's what we thought was healthy cat, and then within 2 days had a stroke and died. And we were in shock that happened. And then with our dog, had cancer, and that lasted for 3 to 4 months, and it was very slow. And we watched him gradually get worse and worse and worse, and that's very hard at the same time too. So you guys were here around for that one, the slow process with BC Barker, and going through that one. And you know, I'd spent over $10,000 trying to save him. It didn't help. But, you know, then the time came to put him down and put him to rest. But we got BC Barker 2.0 a couple of weeks after that, maybe a month after that or so. And now he's over 3 years old. He is 3.5 years old now, full grown. And we've got at 3.5 years old, you're totally through the puppy phase, through that obnoxious jerk of a puppy phase that they go through. But he's really great with the kids. He's very playful, but he doesn't chew up stuff. He doesn't pee in the house. He doesn't do anything like that. So he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Real good with the kids, which is always the important thing. So he's good. Andy says, soon be time for members only. Yeah, I was thinking about that today before we went live. I was like, we probably need to do that. Maybe we'll plan that for the end of the week. We'll get through the ETF stuff. Let's get through the ETF stuff. It's one of these things too, like I know there's like this volatile event and there's like info that's not known. Like the reality is the bankers are the ones who know. Who knows what comes next in regards to short-term stuff and planting and positioning themselves properly right here. So maybe we'll plan one for the end of the week. Let's get through the ETF stuff and let's have some info rather than being in kind of a holding pattern right here, waiting for things to happen. Let's get through the end of this stuff and then we can plan for something at the end. Oh, you're asking where the fractal went up to? It doesn't matter to me where it went up to. I'm not going to show that on the chart. That kind of stuff is exactly where I know you're watching, you Twitter copying plagiarists who screenshot my YouTube channel and then you post it on your stuff as your own. That's something, and I'm not talking about you, Skeleton. I'm talking about like the 4 people who watch who do that. They're going to take that and post it to their Twitter. And I don't believe in that. So I should start a comedy channel next. Well, no, what part of it is nervous energy too. Part of it is kind of like like when you come onto a live stream, you also can't sit here and be quiet for 20 seconds, right? Like, let's see how awkward this becomes. I'm just going to do it for 10 seconds and see how it goes. That's weird, right? Like, you got to keep going. So sometimes it just turns into weird stuff. Yeah, it's awkward. I know. It's silence. And so I guess, a lot of it is just whatever comes off the cuff. You're muted. You're muted. Yeah, see? Hello, silence, my old friend. See, look, everybody noticed it. It's 10 seconds. Everybody's like, wait a minute, something's wrong. So makes me think I thought it was dead. Yeah, exactly. So there's part of an art to it and then nervous energy at the same time. I can tell you, it is kind of weird. Like you do kind of like, so there's 2,800 people watching right now. Now put me into a room and have all eyes looking at me and have me on a stage in front of 2,800 people in there. It's going to get weird, man. I don't know what that would be like. That would be awkward and weird. But there does become a little bit of numbness to the number on the screen. And it's not real. Like, it's not real for me to think that there's actually 2,800 people watching me right now. It's awkward. It's not awkward. It's like unreal. Unreal. I think like when you become a streamer, you kind of just ever hope that maybe 100 people would watch you one day. That's what you kind of hope for, I think. Because if you have 100, then it's like, okay, well, I'm doing something right. This is just weird. But grateful for it. Every minute of it. You can't put it into words. And I don't know how to. And it's one of those things, too. Let me tell you this. Like, if you ever watch YouTube, like, whenever like I meet other YouTubers and stuff like that, it also removes that whole, like, when this happens, that you're like, this other person is like some major superstar or something like that. Like when I meet YouTubers in real life and stuff, it's more of just like kind of a nod, shaking hands, what's up? I know the big secret that you know as well, that everybody else doesn't know, that you're just a normal, regular person. Right. And a lot of people watch you, but you're still just some regular Joe. But you have a lot of viewers. So that's what it's like when I meet other YouTubers. I'm like, I know you're just this regular dude, and for some reason people watch you, and because that's what's going on with me. But then you do sometimes meet people, you do, who totally are over their own head. Their ego is giant. I've met YouTubers that have 20, 30, 40,000 subscribers, and their ego is monstrous. I'm like, wow, like you've bought into it that you are a celebrity. That is crazy. We are not celebrities. We're just dudes and chicks. Well, like, I'm a dude. There's like 4 chicks here. Yeah. I don't know how we just went on that tangent, but that's how you fill silence, people. That's how you get rid of the dead air and thinking the stream is over. You just tell some random story. Anyway, but that's what it's like being a YouTuber. You're totally a normal person. You meet other YouTubers. You know they're other just completely regular people. And then when other people want to shake my hand and say hi to me, I'm just thinking to myself, I can't believe you want to meet me because I'm just a regular normal dude. This is amazing. Can we get an inverted chart? That's funny enough. He's a dude, she's a dude, we're all dudes. Yeah, what is that from? He's a dude. Yeah, that's, come on. The two dudes. The 2 guys. What are they called? What are those 2 guys called? Is it Good Burger? Yeah. Keaton and Kel. Somebody asked a question. I'm trying to find it. Can we do an inverted chart? That was funny. I was playing with inverted charts this morning. But I didn't find anything new to talk about with them. But I spent maybe 20 minutes before stream. Yeah, if you guys don't know, I get up and spend like 3 hours on the charts before I come on here. A lot of times there's just nothing really new happening. And so we just kind of revert back to the standard stuff that we typically talk about in the morning to watch it and make sure the market's behaving itself. But sometimes we do get new things. Today, 3 hours spent looking at it. Nothing new. The obviously thing is we're in like holding to get through our little news cycle happening in here right now. That's our main thing this week. I'm trying to remain level-headed during all of it. Is Whiskey 2 still alive? Nah, I don't know, dude. I think he went through some stuff. We never see him. But we'll send our powers out to him, say, Whiskey 2, we hope you're doing well. So, okay. Andy Philpott, I think I got through everything, guys. We're at 1 hour and 15 minutes. We're now just getting goofy. We're just not even talking about crypto anymore. We're not even talking about every headline of a Bitcoin ETF at this point. But we'll keep our eyes going on through everything. Support's held throughout the weekend and into the weekly close. And we'll watch everything with huge intensity for the next several days. Of course, if you're looking for something to do to keep yourself super entertained with no silence gaps, all talking, no silence, no breathing. If you don't know that, when I edit these things out, I edit out 90% of my breathing right here on Substack and bcbacker.com. If you ever pay attention to that, to my videos, there is no coughing. There is no sneezing, throat clearing, and minimal breathing. Because it all gets edited out. Right here on bcbacker.com and on Substack. Your number 1 place for text and stuff. All right, that's it. We're done. We're just ridiculous at this point. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, check out bcbacker.com for 40 plus videos and 11 hours of content. Check out Substack with audio recordings in there of all the newsletters that I do write up. A lot of stuff in there. We're talking about altcoins and developer data. All those things are still there. And of course, the most recent one looking forward into 2024. All right here at your fingertips at bcbacker.com and blockchainbacker.substack.com. Otherwise, have an absolutely wonderful day. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.